Hey guys, today we're going to talk about the distributive property. Throughout this next semester, we're going to talk about a lot of different properties with multiplication and addition, but this is going to be the first one that we're going to talk about. So when you look at the distributive property, I do want you to copy this down right here in your notebook. It's got everything that you need for the definition and some examples. So let's start with really looking up here at the definition in words, okay? So it means to multiply a sum or difference by a number. You multiply each number in the sum and difference by the number outside of the parentheses. So if you look over here at the algebra section of it, you should be able to see you've got a pair of parentheses with B and C being added together, and A is outside the parentheses. Notice that there is not an operation right in between the parentheses and the A. Anytime a number or a variable, which is a letter in math, is next to a parentheses, there's an invisible multiplication sign. These dots right here in our next problem, in the next section that it kind of shows you to explain, those dots also represent multiplication signs. So what the word was saying where it says multiply each number in the sum and difference by the number outside the parentheses is shown right here in this step. You're taking A and multiplying it to B, and you're taking A and multiplying it to C, and then you can add B and C together. Now, as you know, the order of operations does say to do whatever's inside the parentheses first. If you were to add B and C together and then multiply by A, you would still get the exact same answer. But the distributive property allows us to manipulate some numbers and rewrite some equations in a different way, which is why we're going to learn it like this. So if you look down here at our example, it says 12 times 52, and it wants you to find that mentally. And that's more difficult to do mentally than some other math problems. So they use a distributive property, and they took this second factor, 52, and they made it and wrote it in a different way. 50 plus 2 does equal 52, but you're more capable of doing the mental math for 12 times 50 and 12 times 2. So decomposing that number 52 and then multiplying both of those numbers by 12 can get you to your answer for 52 times 12. And as you can see, when you do that, you do 12 times 50. We know 12 times 5 is 60. So since 50 is a 10, you have to add another 0, plus 12 times 2, which you know mentally is 24. And then it's fairly simple to add 60 plus 24. Lastly, over here, you can see it done in numbers as well. So this is very similar to our example, but instead of them decomposing the number 7, they already had it decomposed there for you. And again, this can be true for both addition and subtraction problems, but it does have to be multiplication because that operation in between the variable, which is the letter, and the parentheses, there's always an invisible multiplication sign there. So as you saw, the distributive property can be written in so many different ways. And I've really put it out here for you all 4 ways that the distributive property can be written, or you can take any types of these equations and turn it into a distributive property equation. Okay, so this is what I call a mystery box. And I want you to copy this out of your notebook and try to solve it while the video is paused. And then I want you to come back to see how you did. So basically what you're going to do, given each expression, you've got expression A, B, C, and D. They're all going to be different equations and different values. And I want you to go through, given the one that was given, and find the other 4. So I'll do this first expression A with you. It gave it to you in the multiplication form. So if you were to use this equation and try to change it into distributive property, you're going to look at what's available there to you. As you see, you've got 4 times 6 minus 4 times 2. So the common factor that you see there is 4. So 4 is going to go outside the parentheses, and 6 minus 4 is going to go inside the parentheses. I can take it one step further from multiplication going down this chart as well to turn it into the addition or subtraction problem by starting to solve the multiplication problems. So 6 times 4 I know equals 24, and it's a subtraction problem, and 4 times 2 equals 8. So I've just simplified that multiplication expression into addition and subtraction expression. And then lastly, I can go ahead and find my value. So that value that you're going to find there is going to be 16. So I do want you to pause this video at this time and try to figure out the expressions B, C, and D for all of the missing values. Hopefully you're done now, and I'm going to show you the answers here in just a moment. All right, so take a second right here and look at this answer key. If you were doing this hopefully on your own, maybe you needed a little bit of help or you had to rewatch the video a few times. These were not very easy. Expression B in particular was pretty difficult because 49 is not a very common multiple of several of numbers except for 7. Therefore, it was difficult to find numbers that worked. One thing that I want to bring your attention to is expression C. So if you started with expression C looking at the 80 minus 60, you had to find a common factor between 80 and 60. So I chose that factor of 10 since both of those numbers end in 0. You could have chosen 2 or other numbers that they had in common as well and gone from there. So I hope that you guys really learned about the distributive property today. Please make sure that you comment your questions on Google Classroom. And now you can go to Google Classroom and do your 5-question homework assignment.